Good morning and welcome. You're watching the small and mid-cap show here on NDTV Profit. I'm Harsh Saita. With me is Mahima Vajrajani, and we'll take it straight to the first management for the day. We have Shishir Joshipura, who's the Managing Director at Praj Industries, to join us with regard to Q4 numbers as well as what to expect going forward. Welcome, sir. Quickly on to CBG. Give us the latest update. Is FY25 the year of the turnaround for CBG?
Good morning. CBG is definitely seeing a big traction in the business. We are very, very hopeful and confident that this will be the case as we move forward through the year. What's been very important for CBG's business has been the fact that we have now announced that we have commissioned and successfully commissioned and proven the yields on different feedstocks, which has been the industry pain point for a long time. But we now have 3 commercial projects where we have successfully proven the yield, and therefore we believe that this proves our leadership credentials and will help us move forward on the CBG side of business in India.
Understood. Mr. Joshipura, Mahima joining in. Well, I want to understand that you've given a guidance that you want to triple your revenues by FY30. But going forward in FY25 and FY26, what are the kind of numbers on the revenue that you're seeing, one thing, and how will they impact the margins?
So, Mahima, what we will not be able to give a specific guidance for the current financial year or the next financial year. Our broad-based path is that we want to triple our revenues, and we have laid down some vectors for that. One of the big vectors we have said is the fact that we talked about CBG already. The next vector is around internationalization, and I think that's a very important vector for our business, because we are saying that as we move forward, we will the share of pie will be almost 50% for our international business. And if you look at our order booking numbers in the last quarter, and consistently so right through the year, we have shifted from about 18-20% of the pie for international business to, on our order book, to last quarter we ended at 39%. So it is moving in the right direction. It's not going to happen overnight, we all know that, but that's why we have said that by the time we come to 2030, we aim to have a 50-50 kind of a portfolio. The ETCA segment, the SAF, we are seeing a lot more opportunities open up out in the field. Modularization is finding good traction. So all the technological offerings that we have made, the strategic bets we have taken, the markets that we have decided to serve, they are all moving in the direction which is what we desired and designed. And I think that augurs well. Therefore, we stay very, very confident that we will be able to meet our guidance numbers as we move forward.
Understood. Mr. Joshipura, if you can give us some metric with regard to FY25, how will CBG contribute, especially to your top line, and if at all, a texture on how it will contribute to margins as well?
I won't be able to give specific margins to the business because that's not our policy. However, if you look at our order book, we have already shared a nearly 500 crore kind of order book that we are carrying into this year from CBG. So that should be indicative enough for you to saying from a near zero level of business, this will start to, not exactly zero, but it will start to move to significant part of our overall portfolio.
Understood. Mr. Joshipura, overall, you've said in your con calls that you will expect margin expansion in FY25. Can you tell us as to how much margin expansion are you expecting?
What we have said is that we are moving to higher value addition streams in our business, markets where we are able to get higher margins, business mix that is changing in favor of higher margins. So if we look at the mix of the business changing from different dimensions, as I said, it's no longer, of course, ethanol remains our core business and will continue to grow. But we are saying that it's no longer just an ethanol story. We are also moving with other dimensions of CBG, of ETCA, of SAF in time to come, not necessarily in this year, but in time to come. Our entire modularization offering, Praj High Purity. So there are different businesses that are all building very, very strongly. And the businesses that are building strongly are higher margin accretive. And therefore, we believe that we will be in a position to show better results.
And on the 500 crore CBG book, how much will the execution be like?
We would expect to execute the book. What we're carrying forward is something that we will completely execute, yes.
Understood, understood, got it. And with regard to outside of CBG, once you get to the 10,000 crore kind of number, you've given a 50-50 split in terms of domestic to international. Among various products, how will it look like?
So if you look at the international business and the markets development, one clear shift that we see is the need or demand emerging for low carbon and ultra low carbon ethanol, which is different from the normal 1G ethanol. And that's where Praj is differentiated technology. And these are all in advanced market of United States and Europe. So we expect that that is something that will build. The modularization part of our business, the energy transition, we just announced in this quarter order from Blue Hydrogen for a port in Europe. So that is going to be a big shift that we will see happen, that a lot of advanced markets will start featuring in our order book. Brazil is becoming very, very promising for us. So we are looking at some very new markets where our offerings will be perceived as high value because they deliver high value, and therefore we'll be able to deliver high value and capture high value back for ourselves as well.
Understood. And what's the kind of competition, Mr. Joshipura, in some of these markets globally?
Oh, competition is definitely there. No question about it. In fact, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah. Sure.
We believe that competition actually tells you that there is enough and more market, and we are not the lone voice. So we are able to actually find a balanced offering. The key point is that are we able to offer a differentiated value to our customer? And I think that's where we score big, because we strongly believe that the kind of work that we have done over our past decade and even more than that is now coming to fruition. And that's what I was mentioning, that we are probably in a sweet spot where the work that we have done is now getting valued at a higher level in the world markets in terms of lower carbon footprint, lower water footprint, our ability to get higher yields, our ability to manage different feedstocks, convert them to different product lines. And I think that's what is getting increasingly more valued, and that's what is very, very positive for us.
Understood. Mr. Joshipura, I want to understand that which are the high value products, or let's say which are the products which are more margin accretive for you?
Well, let me not put it to a product side. The key issue is that how do we go about configure a project? Now, some markets, because of their own drivers, would look at a very different configuration of a project. They would look at a co-product stream very differently compared to another market. So it depends on the market, its own regulations that govern that market, and the value that they are seeking to be delivered. And so it's different drivers for different businesses. In general, export markets or international markets are higher value accretive than domestic markets. Our services business is higher value accretive than our main equipment business, but that's a normal rule anywhere in the normal business industries, and we are no different on that.
Okay, got your point. Mr. Joshipura, you've guided for margin expansion. I will try to coax you further on that. What's the kind of terminal kind of a margin number that you are looking for as your margins continue to expand? I fully appreciate that there will be fluctuations along the way, but what's the target like? Where do you land?
When it comes to giving guidance in number forms, I forget my mathematics. but internally we remember our maths very well.
Late teens, is that a number that
I'm not sorry, but as I said, I forget my mathematics in any language. So.
Okay, sure, sir. Sure. So I'll shift focus onto expansion plans. What's in the pipeline?
Yes, that's a great question. So what we see is that the canvas is expanding rapidly globally and in India. There are several initiatives, Global Biofuel Alliance that India is leading. There's a clean cooking initiative that is coming out of IEA in Africa. We are seeing G20 taking big lead on biofuels, the COP28 discussions that held where biofuel found a place of prominence. So internationally, the ecosystem is developing very, very favorably in favor of what we have to offer. That's number one. Number two, people are also saying, okay, different feedstocks, different products, not just one feedstock and one product. So it's just not molasses C from sugar and ethanol out of that. But we are looking at a wide variety of feedstock, whether it is on sugary side, whether it is on starchy side, even lignocellulosic side. People are looking at second crops. We are getting into a era where it will be a problem of plenty, frankly speaking, in terms of what do we choose to offer. And I think that ecosystem development is very, very value accretive. The world is clearly taking cognizance of the fact that we have a very unique perspective to offer on modularization, because as a company, we understand process, because that's who we are, technology and process. But when we go to other customers and they want to modularize their processes, this knowledge of understanding what a process means actually is helping us to offer something very unique to our customers in terms of the modularization offer that we are giving. So all of this is creating a very, very good traction for us. SAF, we already saw last year, we flew the first flight. We have since then made a lot of progress, and as we go through the next couple of years, we'll see that as well. So it's becoming a very positively developing ecosystem. Our offering are finding higher acceptance. We have worked at it for many, many years. And from that perspective, many of our competition will find it difficult to catch up quickly because they have to put in those number of years to actually understand what's happening. And as I was mentioning to you earlier as well, that on the CBG side, we have now reported industry level benchmark yields on 3 of our projects, which was a pain point for the industry in India. But these things take time. But now I'm very, very happy that we're able to do that. And that will open up market not only in India, but even outside India for us.
Right. So, Mr. Joshipura, for all of these business plans, I want to understand what is the kind of capex that you're aiming at, what will be the number that you'll be landing at, and secondly, where will you be funding this from?
Great. So, as you know that we are building a PLA facility, which is the renewable material side. So, all the discussion that we had so far was around the energy side of the equation, or biomobility as we call it. And now we go to the next side, which is renewable chemicals and materials, which is biodegradable plastics and bioplastics era, where we are setting up a large demonstration project for PLA near Pune, which will be functional in another 2-3 months time frame. We have already announced a large investment in Mangalore facility of ours, where we'll keep on augmenting to absolutely a global class facility at Industry 5.0 for manufacture of ETCA servicing, segment servicing modules and equipments. So that's another one. We are also modernizing our Kandla factory. So we are looking at modernizing all our facilities in a big way. We have already committed a significant amount of money, and over 100 crores of Capex has already been committed. We have done it last year. We'll do it again this year. And the idea being that we are in a position to move. We understand that in our business, it takes time for us to go through these steps to come to a commercialization scale. And on one hand, especially for our technology businesses and for our engineering businesses, it's a question of building the capacity. And that is something that we already built through our project in Mangalore. It's already gone for commercial production in February.
Okay, understood. One more question on the financial aspect side, that your lease liability number is going significantly higher. It right now stands at 141 crores. Can you give us some color as to where this number will go in FY25, and overall, what is the trend that you're seeing here?
Yes, what we are actually seeing is the facility in Mangalore that I mentioned to you about. Apart from the plant and machinery, the big piece of land and the shares that we have taken is on a lease agreement, long-term lease agreement, and that is why the lease number you see as going up. There is no other reason for this. It's just a financial structuring of the deal that we have done for our Mangalore facility.
Understood, Mr. Joshipura. Mr. Joshipura, any debt plans to take on debt as part of the expansion? If I've done the math right, roughly 100 odd crore of free cash flow is what you've generated this year. What's the debt position like, and how are you investing both in R&D as well as in Capex? How are you balancing some of those metrics, if you can tell us?
Yes. So first of all, we have no plans to raise any debt.
Sure.
We believe that we will be able to feed whatever we need from our internal accruals. That's number one. Number two is we are very clear that when it comes to expenses, R&D is the first expense that we decide, saying in terms of this is what's going to happen, this is what we need to meet, and then move forward. I can tell you that even during the toughest time in the COVID period, our chairman told us that, guys, you can touch anything but R&D. Don't touch R&D at all. You can touch any other expenses to optimize, but not R&D. Yes, we will repurpose R&D for, in terms of what we need to focus it upon, but that's something that will continue. And that philosophy still stays. In terms of Capex, obviously, we have made a very significant commitment, and over the next 5 years, this is a commitment that will run to almost 350 crores in our facility at Mangalore. And that's something that we're already committed to, and we are very, very confident that as time moves forward, maybe time will tell, but maybe that will be less and we have to do more, but that we are very confident that we'll be able to meet from our internal accruals in our operations.
Understood. And sir, what's the R&D breakup like, expense to revenue?
So our R&D expenses are typically at about 3 to 4%
Sure.
of our revenue. Yeah.
It's not capitalized, you expense it out.
Yes,
Annually.
that is correct.
Understood, understood. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Joshipura. It's been comprehensive, and thank you so much for giving us all of this understanding and breaking this down for us.
Thank you very much.